First up, health care. It's been one of the most divisive issues for the last decade, and it is definitely at the top of voters' minds going into these midterms, according to Fox News polling. Here's White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. She's been on the show so much tonight, talking about the president's health care plan. Watch.
The president's health care plan that he's laid out covers pre-existing conditions. The president wants to lower premiums to make health care more affordable. Nobody will be charged higher premiums if they keep their coverage, and nobody will be denied coverage under the president.
Republicans have failed to fix the disaster that Democrats ushered in. So what would a liberty-minded solution look like? I've got a very special panel tonight. He's a Libertarian candidate for governor in the state of New York. Larry Sharpe is back, along with Libertarian candidate for Senate in Virginia, Matt Waters, and Libertarian candidate for Congress in the 7th District in Pennsylvania. It is Tim Silfies. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep, glad to be here.
So let's talk health care. And again, you're not fighting each other. We're trying to come up with a solution and work together to defeat the establishment.
Well, I'm out of here then. I thought we were fighting.
Larry!
I thought we were fighting here. I don't know. What are we doing? Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges you face and what you're hearing from voters in PA7.
Well, people care about health care for sure. The funny thing is that the establishment parties are both just fighting over the narrow point of pre-existing conditions, and that's an opening for me. I mean, in the debates that we've had, I've been able to turn that around on them badly because both parties, as we know, have centralized health care in Washington. Prices are skyrocketing. People feel bad about the options that they have, and I can make the point that, look, Medicare is going to be insolvent starting in 2026.
That's insane.
It's insane. And both parties are responsible for it, and they have no answers, and they ignore that point. So I can turn it around on them, and I have been, and it seems to resonate with people because they want someone being honest.
Yes.
And that's honest.
And your theme for your entire candidacy has been something different. You actually gave up health care.
Yeah, so
you gave up, I should say, health insurance. You're still getting health care.
That's right. So
Tell me about this system.
It's amazing. So I'm with a nonprofit. It's a group of people that decided to opt out of health insurance, and we share each other's medical expenses. And the cost last year of Blue Cross Blue Shield for my family of 7, Kennedy, we paid $21,000. This year we're under $6,000. It's truly a miracle when people can take ownership of their health insurance and put us in the driver's seat, and then things happen like costs come down.
Well, that's a fascinating model, and I would like to see someone like you get elected so we can hear more about those options, because what they're offering now, it is a false dichotomy. And you, my friend, when you assume the governorship here in New York State, you are going to be tackling maybe the greatest behemoth.
That is correct. We're looking at Cuomo Care here.
Yeah.
We're looking at Medicaid for all, that horrible 2-tiered system which makes sure that all the best doctors don't take any insurance, right? That's what we're looking to actually happen in New York State, which is a big problem. But it goes to his point. I mean, in reality, we've made an error, and we've confused health care insurance with health care.
Yes.
Right? Obamacare is not health care reform. It's health care insurance reform. And I'm actually less concerned about insurance right now. I'm much more concerned about the health care system, which is a cartel system. It's a cartel system to where we get horrible care unless you pay out of your pocket. We have to change the actual health care system and make it to where it's far more transparent and to where it's more like non-essential medical care.
Yes.
And it actually gets to where we have higher technology and higher service and lower pricing.
Yeah, you want the innovation. You don't want to squash that.
That's correct.
Sometimes you have to pay more for things, but with actual solutions like what Matt was talking about. Very interesting. Now, Republicans have shied away from campaigning on their tax cuts in the midterms, as voters aren't as hot on the topic as they were before. More Americans should be upset about the fact that our national deficit is in 2018 is going to hit $779 billion, in part because Republicans only cut taxes and not spending. How would a libertarian cut down the size of government?
Yeah, look, I fight for tax cuts all the time on the trail, and actually it's a good issue. I was the business reporter for our local station there, and a lot of businesses really did well from the tax cut. So I just talk more about cutting taxes, and people feel it viscerally. The thing is, though, you're right, the spending is such an issue, and the Republicans, because they did such a terrible job on it with total control of Washington, they've kind of opened up that flank, unfortunately, where Democrats can make this argument that, oh, well, you know, tax cuts are why the deficit's so huge, even though we know that that's not the case. It's if we would live within our means and actually cut spending, we could do both. So the Republicans have kind of blown it on that. So we have to step in and be the responsible ones who are actually going to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah, and it's not. It's as though Republicans have given up, and it sort of sets the tone. And then instead of admitting to failure and changing, they just sort of attack the other side. So how can you, instead of, you don't want to sound like a loon Although
Right.
I don't think it's crazy to want to get rid of
Yeah.
entire government agencies, like start with the Department of Commerce
Sure.
and then move on to Department of Education. But how can you practically work with people to make cuts?
Yeah, so I mean, look. There's models out there. I mean, take Margaret Thatcher, the great Prime Minister of England, who privatized so much of England's public sectors. She went to a public-private partnership and slowly moved it out of the public side into the private sector. It's a model that we can use here in the States across the board, and I think it goes back to the Constitution, right? It goes back to what is the role of government? What's the proper role of government? If it's to protect our rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, our property, and it's extended beyond that at this point. I think we need to think about reining it in and re-educating people on that
All right,
point.
so rein it in. How do you do it on a state
Two
level?
issues. You mentioned why do people not care, and then how do you do it? People don't care because there's a lack of opportunity, and that's the critical piece. And when you have a lack of opportunity, people begin to give up. They have learned helplessness. They stop caring. In New York State, about 70% of us don't even vote anymore, right? So we've given up. So we don't care about anything almost. Just, I want to feel better.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with taxes? You can't
politicians just throw stuff at people.
Yes.
They throw free stuff and
Right.
say, give me your vote. I'm selling out.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we can't just cut things either, because when you cut things and just cut them, people become afraid. And
Yes.
people who are afraid make bad decisions.
And Peter Suderman once said you have to use a scalpel, you can't use a cleaver.
That's correct.
'Cause
Absolutely.
Then the hemorrhaging, the uncontrollable hemorrhaging, that's what will really
You
hurt
also have to
an
create
economy.
more ways of raising money without taxation, right? I've talked often about the idea of leasing naming rights to infrastructure to raise money. The idea of using the MTA as freight lines in the evenings to raise money.
I would love for an airport to be named after me.
Absolutely. See that?
Kennedy Airport sounds great. So we are running out of time. People say that third-party candidates are spoilers, and they only give the election to one side or the other. What do you say?
I say my opponents are trying to spoil it for me. This is a quintessentially American idea to take on a seemingly insurmountable foe and beat them. I mean, that's how the country was literally formed. And I appeal to it from a pragmatic standpoint. An independent in Congress would have a lot of power. Both sides would be courting me for my vote.
Yep.
I mean, and when Pelosi and the Democrats went too far, I could check them. When Trump and the Republicans went too far, I could check them. It's empowering our district to actually have a more influential voice.
It's like a floater on Big Brother winning head of household. Quickly, spoiler.
Yeah, so I would say the spoiler, the Democrats and Republicans are Thelma and Louise, and they've driven over the cliff and they're bankrupting
That's right.
the country.
Are you Brad Pitt?
I'm not Brad Pitt, but I like the compliment, though.
Yeah. Larry.
No, the issue is it's not true, right? The biggest group of people as a voting bloc are those who don't vote, right? So the concept that I'm taking votes for someone else is actually not accurate. I'm getting people who didn't care to actually vote, right? In New York State, again, 70% of New Yorkers don't vote. That's 7 million New Yorkers. If 7 million New Yorkers wrote in Mickey Mouse would be the governor. So I'm actually taking people who don't care anymore.
He also has an E at the end of his name. Larry
That's
Sharp.
true.
Matt Waters, Tim
Yes.
Silphy, thank you also.
Very electable.
Great talking
Thanks for
to
being
you
here.
guys.